Warp 1, Mr. Sulu.
On my order, Mr. Data, Mr. LaForge.
Enterprise, Spock here.
What the hell is happening?
Are your navigational readings going crazy?
Engage.
30 years is a long time to exist in the transient world of television and film, yet Star Trek has managed to not only survive, but to grow in popularity. To find out the secret of its success, the Sci-Fi Channel went to one of the larger European conventions, Generations 2, at London's Royal Albert Hall. Joined 1,500 Trekkers on the dance floor of the London Palais and talked to both fans and stars about the appeal of Star Trek.
Star Trek's something you grow up with.
I've just been a fan for the last 30 years.
The relationships between the people are very interesting.
Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock.
It's not just a spaceship landing and aliens running around.
Those guys with the big glowy brain things.
It's about people.
The Klingons and the Gorn.
I want to tell you how happy I am to be assigned to the Enterprise.
There's something about it that has a universality that appeals to people all over the world.
It gives hope for the future.
You see the future with not everything's gone bad, but everything's gone well.
Star Trek shows that we as a people are able to overcome extremely petty differences.
They've really got sexual equality down to a T.
I always loved the continuity of the show. They took the time to really link it.
I love Captain Kirk. I think he's wonderful.
It does give you hope for the future.
There's nothing else like it.
Star Trek is a vision of people of different races and cultures and, of course, planet origins working together to a common goal.
Our world is reactivated. Our people express their gratitude.
It's well thought out plots, dramas.
The characters and the actors.
At least we're here 400 years from now, and I think that there's a kind of a hope and an optimism about that that's very attractive.
Excitement, adventure, challenge.
It's a great thing. You have fun.
Every television program all rolled into one.
There's an alternate reality. These people like science and they like narrative, and this combines both of them.
To discover what goes on behind the scenes of an event like this, we spoke to one of the organisers, Master of Ceremonies Bob Benton.
Let's welcome George Pye.
7 o'clock in the morning we're in, checking the schedules for the day. Invariably many changes.
Good morning and happy Easter to you all.
This venue, I must say, is probably the best venue any Star Trek actor has performed at.
Here I am in this absolutely undreamt of setting here in the Royal Albert Hall.
They're nervous. Even famous people, Avery, Brooks, all the rest of them.
Star Trek is celebrating our 30th birthday.
All I know is there are going to be 6,000 people here, and I've never spoken to a crowd that large before. I'm used to speaking to getting excited when there's 500 people. Geez, there's 500 people. How am I going to have time to talk to all these people?
My girlfriend and I were sitting backstage, and she said to me, "Are you nervous?" I was trying to calm her down. Of course not. I've done this before. I completely lied to her.
And then when they come off after their hour, just get them a drink quick.
I'm hoping to see Rob Picard at the holographic Doctor from Voyager again. I thought it was really funny when I was here yesterday.
Star Trek is the only phenomenon where a guy like me, who basically looks like a shoe salesman, could be treated like a rock star.
It's really an extraordinary experience.
I wanted to see Neelix, Evan Phillips.
It's like doing a one-man show without a script, and I tend to get a little bit nervous about what to say, but they usually ask questions, and that stimulates me.
And just sharing things that hopefully a lot of people haven't heard yet and telling the behind-the-scenes stories.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go into a room full of people who are dying to listen to you speak? I always explain when I get asked the question why I like conventions. I say, there's a whole enthusiastic crowd hanging on your every word. I said, I live with 3 women who pay no attention to me, so it's a delightful change in my life.
You folks here are the ones who have given us this gift.
Meanwhile, at the London Palais, preparations are underway for a party of cosmic proportions, and the members of the Energize Star Trek fan club not attending the convention are using the pre-party time to transform themselves into alien life forms.
My friends and myself, we used to just like to watch Star Trek.
Straightforward makeup job, a very messy makeup job.
We then thought it might be good fun to dress up as a few aliens.
Nothing worse than hopefully a bit later chatting to Leonard Nimoy and whoops, half your face falls off.
It just sort of went on, and trial and error. What started as very minor aliens have got more and more complicated.
We applied a very light foundation so that it could give fragility to the makeup.
Basically, Sue started all the makeup, and I got really interested.
so I asked whether I could help.
This time I'm actually putting some hair wax on to stop it going up his nose.
Well, now it's the Vulcan classic makeup, applying the famous ears. You have to take care of the configuration of the ear as well.
I've just have been reminded that I didn't wax that bit, so no doubt it will go up his nose.
You should obtain something like this.
Back at the Royal Albert Hall, money and merchandise are frantically changing hands in the dealer's room.
It's definitely the premier weekend for reaching the kind of hardcore Star Trek fans. And there's probably as many as, I don't know, 14,000 people here, all with money they've kind of saved up for a while to come and spend.
I always think it's quite fun in the dealer's room because you have about 7 or 8 stalls with the same item on it, and I love going up and down the line, seeing which one's the cheapest, and then going back up there and saying, he's selling it cheaper than you, just to see if he puts it down.
I personally will only get stuff that is limited edition.
What we have actually that's very special is a working tricorder made by people who actually do lens work for NASA on the space shuttle, and it's £279, believe it or not.
But what is the actual quality of the merchandise on sale?
Can I help anyone else?
It's good, but there's not enough hard memorabilia like from the shows. There's no phasers, no real costumes, the signal or whatever. Nothing we can really sort of, with any history attached to the actual program itself. It's all stuff that's actually been created for the convention.
There we are, £2 please.
The other thing as well, there seems to be a lot of overheads being put on the memorabilia that is being sold. I mean, you can actually go into, say for instance, the Forbidden Planet or any of the sci-fi shops and get the memorabilia a lot cheaper.
Royal Albert Hall is great for the main presentation and not quite so good for the space that's available for the dealers.
The cost for a table is quite expensive, so I suppose you're going to have to make quite a lot of money to actually cover your costs with staff and stuff.
The side prints, they're good, and some of the artists' work, some of the original work is very good as well. Caught my eye.
The artist had an accident shortly after he finished the original, and he died. So Paramount couldn't get their hands on it because it was in probate. Our company made a deal with the owners, who are obviously the family, to allow us to do only 100 of these prints.
However, with so many things to coordinate, it appears that it's only too easy for things to go wrong.
There are rumors going around that Nimoy isn't coming.
That's just fine.
And I'm really upset about it, and a lot of people are very upset about it.
I think the hardest part is getting the actors to commit. Because you always sign all the actors up subject to their filming commitments.
I mean, I heard he's not sick, it's just some sort of theatre thing he has.
I mean, it's obvious logic. If they suddenly get a deal worth 3 or 4 million to go and shoot a film, they'd rather do that than come and perform 5,500 for 1 hour in front of the Royal Albert Hall crowd.
I think you pay your money and you take your choice.
But in the main, most people are really enjoying this Star Trek convention.
It's generally been the best Star Trek experience I've ever had, really. It's like the most exciting thing I've ever been to.
I didn't know what to expect, but it's amazing. I'm really impressed with it. Robert Picardo yesterday, he was excellent. George Takei was just seen, very good. Lots of people, it's all excellent, yeah.
But the great thing is all the artists have very good stories, and they're very funny, and they make it kind of enjoyable for the audience.
I've really enjoyed it. I think it's excellent. And both speakers so far have been very entertaining, and so far we've only got to 2 stalls, and we've stopped already. So much to look at.
It compares very well with other conventions. Seems to be generating a lot of interest in Star Trek across the country. A lot of news coverage, which is always good for the show.
It's the best thing I've ever spent money on, to be honest.
Well, good champion you are.
At the Palais, the final preparations are being made and the staff are ready for an influx of 1,500 Star Trek fans queuing outside.
To see the stars and to meet friends all around.
And some other aliens are ready to invade.
This is a babe magnet. I shall be fighting them off all night long.
Despite some previously hostile encounters.
We've had a police car come past us 3 times, laughing their heads off.
We crashed a cyclist once. The poor chap was coming down the road, couldn't believe the people in Starfleet uniform, looking over his shoulder, went straight into a wall.
Especially on the tube, you get quite a few different reactions. People trying to look without seeing
seeming to be looking.
And then we get the experts, the ones that come up to us and go, "You're from Star Wars, aren't you?"
What do you think of it? More?
We haven't played Star Trek yet, but apart from that, it's really good.
The convention was brilliant and the party's loads of fun. Great.
Real thrill when they came on stage. It's like, I want to get them, I want to touch them.
It's easier to see how the fans feel about the stars, but how do these fans compare to their American counterparts?
They've been very, very warm and very appreciative. I think the fact that we travel that much further to come here makes it even more special for them. So they have been extremely gracious in the warmth of their welcome.
They are very, as up on it as the fans in the States. They're aware of what's going on the show. And I think maybe because they have to work harder to get the newer episodes, maybe they appreciate it more than the fans do in the States.
They're all very on top of things. You mention people's names, you say Michael Kuda or Rick Berman, and people are beyond just the stars, and they know the inner workings of the show.
The caliber of the questions they ask us are very intelligent.
And the final word from the Master of Ceremonies.
Any problems we'll look at and deal with in a fair way. We'll see where it goes. It'll be bigger and better next year.
A Sci-Fi Channel original production.